Hi everyone, it's Sarah with mynaturalbabybirth.com, and today you get to hear my second natural baby birth story. I've had 3 boys so far, and if you missed last week, I told my very first natural birth story, so check that out if you missed it, and if not, great, today will be the second time. My second birth story. So, this pregnancy I had with him was much easier than my first one because I was pregnant through the winter. So I wasn't super hot. I was a lot more active. I was much more dedicated to movement. I was walking almost every day. I would take short hikes. I'm lucky where I work there are trails and I'm right up against the mountain, and there's some trails that I can go hiking on my lunch break. If the weather was bad, I would do all the stairs in all of our buildings, and so I was hoofing it a lot, and I think that made a huge difference. And I was due in February, and if I remember right, I was due in February, and a month before, when they start checking your cervix, I had a new doctor this time. We had moved, and I had a new doctor that I loved, worked with me. He was an obstetrician, and he was also a specialist when it came to surgeries, uterine surgeries and things like that. But I loved him. He was great. And he supported everything I wanted to do. A month before he checked me, I was only dilated to like a 1. That's okay. Then the next week, so 2 weeks before my due date, I was dilated to a 4. And he could feel my sac bulging out a little bit because of the pressure, and everything looked good, but he said you are gonna go into labor right away, really quickly. Usually around 4 centimeters is when that happens, and I hadn't been feeling any contractions or nothing whatsoever. And I was kind of begrudged. I'm like, oh, okay, tomorrow I'll go to work and I'll pack up my things to take them home for maternity leave, because I don't leave all my stuff there. I would bring home what I needed, and I thought, okay, I'll pack my birthing bag, my hospital bag. I hadn't done that yet because I still had 2 weeks. I thought I had plenty of time because my first baby was born 2 days before my due date. And so I said, okay. So I go home that night, and I'm like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll pack stuff tomorrow. I didn't want to do it that night. But lo and behold, that night at 4 a.m. again, I always seem to go into labor at 4 a.m. I went into labor, and I just rolled over, and I'm like, sweetie, I'm in labor. And at first I was kind of annoyed because I'm like, oh, he told me today, and I hadn't packed anything, and I hadn't brought my stuff home from work, and it was no big deal. I wasn't stressed. I was like, I got this. I have done this before. We're gonna do it again. It's gonna be better this time. No problem. I wasn't even really nervous. I wasn't phased at all. I'm like, I got this. And so I took a shower before, and I packed my bag all while I was in labor. I went down and I had breakfast. I ate before this time. I had eggs, and because I didn't get nauseous during labor with my first boy, and so I wanted to make sure I had more energy, because last time I didn't have a lot of energy. I got real tired real fast with squatting and trying to stay strong. So I had some eggs and cereal, and I was fine. It didn't make me sick at all. And then when we went to the hospital, I got there, and they told me I was at a 6. And I'm like, okay, good. I was at a 6. And so they were really great. I had to wear the stupid the monitoring, you know, that doesn't bother me too much. When they put the monitoring on your belly, when they make you lay there for a little while, that's kind of annoying. But they wanted me to keep it on me, but I was disconnected, so I had kind of the wires looped around my neck, and my husband held the thing while we walked. And I was walking around the labor and delivery floor for 3 hours or something. I went into labor at 4 a.m. and we left for the hospital at 7, because I was like 3 minutes apart or something. And so I was walking around. Walking around. They weren't getting stronger, but I was just fine. We were joking and laughing, and it was good. There was no problem. And then she checked me again, and I hadn't progressed. Wait, I'd gotten to a 7. I hadn't progressed very much. So I kept walking, and I was trying to even do it quickly. I was trying to make my husband keep up with me, which is usually the opposite. And then they checked me again an hour later, and I was still at a 7. Like I kind of hit like a little plateau. And I thought, okay, well, why is this happening? I'm not laying down. I'm not in bed. I was doing everything I could with movement. And so they suggested we can break your water to help spur that on. And I didn't want to do that if I didn't have to. But then the nurse said, and we can give you a Pitocin drip, just like, I don't remember the dose, but she said, this is the normal dose, say like 1 picogram per mil or something. I don't remember what it was. But she said, that's the normal dose, but we can do like 1/4 of that or 1/10 of that. Start it real small just to see if it can help your dilation. And I didn't want to do that. And I said, well, let's break my water. That's okay. Let's break my water. So we went ahead and did that. And my doctor wasn't even there this whole time. It was the student PA girl, young doctor that was there the whole time, because he was doing a surgery. He came in and saw me in the morning when I got there, and he said, I've got this super quick little surgery to do, and then I'll be right back. I said, okay, no problem. And he was gone the whole time. So she broke my water, and I like instantly went through transition. I had this huge, long, like 2-minute long contraction. It was awesome, actually. I was kind of just sitting back in bed, and I had my headphones on, and I was listening to Enya, and I was doing my relaxation, and I was calm, and I was thinking about that beach on Mexico that was the most relaxing moment of my life. That is what I imagine when I'm in labor. And I was just doing that, and I just thought, when is this contraction gonna stop? And my nurse was like, holy cow. And it finally did. It was like 2 minutes long. And then she checked me a few minutes later, and I was at a 10. You can dilate 2 to 3 centimeters in one contraction, baby. I am proof of that. Anyway, and then I felt ready to push. I felt it was awesome. And it wasn't as difficult with my first baby. My first baby, I had trouble pushing, but this one was cake. I knew what to do. I was sitting up. I wasn't squatting, but I was sitting upright, and I had everything completely relaxed except for my uterus and bearing down, and I was kind of just pushing gently. I wasn't pushing hard at all because I tore the first time, and I was just trying to be careful this time, and it was pretty smooth. I pushed for like half an hour, and then he slipped right out real easy, and it was really the calmest, easiest birth I've had. I've heard from a lot of moms that your second birth is often the easiest. I don't know why, but for me it was too. It was calm. I wasn't upset. I wasn't frustrated. It wasn't painful at all. It was just the swelling intensity motions that was calm. The pushing wasn't hard. Anyway, And my doctor, he came back in like the second before my last push. And I'm like, where have you been? You know, I was just teasing him, joking, because he was later than he'd said he would be. And he basically got there just to catch the baby, and that was it. And of course, he gets the money for it. Anyway, no problem. No problem. And then we had our second baby, and he had dark hair like me, and I was all excited. I'm like, yay, he's got dark hair like me. And I just said, hi, how are you, you little weirdo? You know, I didn't have that huge wow feeling like I did with my first baby, but I still had that huge loving appreciation and joy. You know, your love just grows when your babies are born. It's not divided between them, it just grows. Your pie gets bigger. And we did great. And the awesome thing about this birth is I call it, even though I wasn't squatting, I call it my Bradley birth, because if you read Dr. Bradley's book, what he calls a Bradley birth is when the mother walks after she's delivered. She has no problem walking, and I had no problem walking this time whatsoever. I wanted to walk. I didn't want that rickety old uncomfortable wheelchair. My nurse pushed it alongside next to me while I walked, and I felt good. I felt great. And so I loved that birth, because it's I kind of plateaued there for some reason. I don't know why, but it was great. I loved it. And so next week, I will come back and I'll tell you my third natural birth story, which was the most powerful one I've had so far. Come back, look forward to that. Do you have any questions for me? How many kids have you had? How many natural births have you had? Leave me a comment below. And do you know a mother that needs to hear a good natural birthing story? Send her this, share this, forward it to a friend, like it, do whatever you need to. We need more stories out in the world about wonderful birth experiences, because they happen every day, and we need to appreciate that. You can do hard things, even have a baby naturally, and you will love it, okay? I'll talk to you later. Have a great day. Bye.